Hello to everybody out there, and welcome to the Real Joy Project. I'm here with Shelby, my co-host, and I'm Jenny Lee, and we are here with Miss Jess Delvo today, who we're super excited to have on the Real Joy Project because I feel like Jess is a fabulous example of a woman just living her life out there. She's busy, she has young kids, she's involved in her community, she owns her own business, and I see Jess as somebody, her and I don't, we're learning, getting to know each other. We're still in that getting to know each other phase. We've worked together a couple times and met at a few events, but I see Jess as just this beautiful human being who is kind and generous, um, busy, super busy, and you're positive, and not just positive like always just smiling and joyful, but I just see you being so positive in your community, and I love seeing that. And so I'm so excited to have you on here today. And so welcome, Jess. Just welcome
Thank
to the Real Joy
you.
Project. um,
Thanks.
I have loved watching you bloom, and you just all the things that you're doing. So just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you got going on.
Yeah, so I am Jessica Delvo. I live in Williston, North Dakota. I'm married. I have two kids, 6 and 8, going on 16 and 18. Um, yeah, I own my own business. It's called Veridian North Media. I just did a rebrand because I was the creative dove. Found out, people don't take it as seriously when you have a cutesy name. So I did a whole rebrand on that. But yeah, I've been doing my thing. I'm in marketing. I've been doing it since 2001. So do the math. Yeah, so I mean, I'm just grateful to be here. I'm very involved in my community, like Jenny said, and I just, if you want something done, I always say, do it yourself. Or, if you want to see the change in the world, then you've got to be the change. So that's kind of my life motto lately. So yeah.
I've seen that a lot in you. I've seen that in your social posts and too, and just like all the things you're doing in your community and making things happen. And do you feel like right now some of the things that you've got going on, your kids being that age, when my kids were that age, I volunteered for things that benefited them, like in the
Yeah.
community. Yeah, I wanted to do things that like brought that kids could come to and be a part of. And do you feel like you're doing that a lot yourself right now?
Yeah, I do. Especially, and I am currently stepping down from a a board position. I was the president of the Harmonic Creative World, and so that's heavily involved with kids learning how to play music and art and theater. And I've been doing that for about 2.5 years. And yes, my kids were pretty much voluntold to do, um, be a part of that. And so, and I'm learning to say no more, but yeah, I try to get as involved as I can, but also I know I don't always like to keep my kids too busy because, it gets a little too much. But between my business and my whole networking part and then their little lives. So yeah.
I I'm so proud of you for like stepping down and saying,
Yeah.
okay, I did this for a while and now it's okay to step back. And
Yeah.
I think what you just said that was an excellent it's just so good for your kids to see that too. Like that it's okay to say no. You and I've had I think we talked about this once just about how busy we were and learning that, like learning to say no. And it's hard when you are like you
Yeah.
want to do all the things and you want to bring all these things to your community and even your own life, but your kids are going to appreciate the fact that that they're learning how to say no themselves, but also that they are giving them that time to just be kids and like think
Mhm.
be creative and things on their own without having to constantly be involved. I overdid that to my kids when they were little. I volunteered them a lot. Yeah, a lot. And I seen one day that Delilah, my youngest, but she was probably about 14 at the time. And I was like, Delilah, you don't have to do everything. You don't, and she's like, yes, I do. I have to do it all and I have to be good at it all. And I've talked about that on here before. And it was like, that was kind of my eye opener of like, whoa,
Yeah.
like she's emulating what I've been like saying, you can do anything. It's like, and
Yeah.
then, but we've talked about before, you can do anything, but you don't have to do everything.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and I even told my kids, and it kind of this past summer, we were doing theater, and I was helping out so much during the week with it, and but I wasn't able to see the end show. I was actually in the backstage, just like helping the kids in the back, and so I didn't even get to see my own kids in the play, and that was just really disappointing, and it really hit me. I feel like I want to cry about it, but like like it really hit me. I was like, I am missing, like, I am so involved with their stuff that I'm missing out on them because I'm
Yeah.
organizing everyone else.
Yeah.
And I just want to be a part of their experience and watch them grow. And that's something that was really hard for me to step back because who's going to step up?
Mhm.
And hopefully somebody will. So
Mhm. I
Hi.
go ahead, Shelby.
I actually have a question for both of you. So my daughter is only 2, so we're not quite to that stage yet. We are very busy with her. She does a couple of activities throughout the week, and of course, we're trying to involve her with friends by like going to the splash pad. But she does gymnastics one night a week and swimming another night of the week. And my husband and I have had multiple conversations about, do we put her in something else? Like, how much is too much? How much is not enough? We reflect back on when we were kids and it seemed like we were in a lot of stuff growing up. So we're trying to find that balance. So I ask each of you, what advice would you give to a mom of younger kids to keep that balance so that they are involved in enough stuff, but they can also see mom saying no to some big things, and then they can learn to say no to some things themselves as my daughter gets a little bit older.
yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Jess, I'm gonna have Jess take that first. Hers are a little younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
well, yeah. So I did things that were maybe my passions, and same with my husband. He got my son involved in Boy Scouts, and then I was like, "Hey, play soccer. That's awesome," and because I played soccer, and I mean, and I noticed quickly my daughter had zero interest. She even said, "I want to do yoga." And and so and even I got her in this play and all that, and she's like, I don't like this, I want to be the only one on stage. And so I was like, okay. So we got her onto singing, and she loves to sing. And so I'm just noticing these little things that, like, she might not love team sports, and really it's her personality. And she's not a team player, even though I know she needs to learn. But right now, it's like she does really thrive when she's on the stage by herself and doing her own thing. And so, hey, she's in pageant work now, in the Miss North Dakota Little Prairie Sister, pageant. So that was really fun to watch. But yeah, I mean, my son would do anything and everything if he possibly could. But I told him one or two things per season, and that's it. Like, you need to choose. Like, you can't do karate, Boy Scouts, and soccer. And then he's like, "Oh, I want to do flag football." And I was like, "Okay, hold on. Like, really, what do you want to do?" So I make him kind of choose, and we'll see if it fits. And also, he wanted to do um, travel soccer this summer, and I was like, "Heck no." He's 7, almost 8. Well, he was just, 7. He just turned 8. And they had us traveling, 10 plus hours, and plus on top
Oh,
of
wow.
hotels and all that stuff. And I was like, this is not, you know, it's like parents are expected to do so much for our kids, and we forget about our own lives. But really, is it doing the kids justice by keeping them all filled, like I like my kids to be a little bored. Like I think it's good for them. So
For sure. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, we obviously are trying to involve our daughter in things that we enjoy, and both of us were in several sports growing up, and um, I ran track in college, so of course there's a special part of me that wants her to be a runner, and we do see her excelling in the sports world right now, even though I mean she's two. We don't really know. She just wants to be a part of the team. She just wants to do what mom and dad are doing. Um, but it's just interesting. So would you suggest just like being patient and kind of seeing where she flourishes and just finding what her interests are on her own?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's how it's just like you kind of, they have those little um testers, like you can test your,
Yeah.
not test, you don't test your kids, but they can play the sport for like an hour a week. So I know that's what we have up here. Like they can try out t-ball or soccer or basketball, and doing those little things. But really, I mean, if you'd really look at your kids deep down, and like what are their passions, what do they
Yeah.
love to do, and go off of that. I know Jenny's kids are totally two different kids on this different spectrum. So
That's exactly what I was thinking as we were talking, is like they're completely opposites,
mm,
and you just don't know what direction. At the age of two, you might see some of that, but until they're even older, and sometimes your kids are going to think they want to do something, and then they're going to do it and be like, "That's not what I thought it was going to be," and I
Yeah.
think, and that's okay. That's how they're going to learn. But one of other thing I thought of too is like try not to fall into, and we talk about it as even grown-ups, is falling into the pressure of all the things we should be doing, is falling into what you might think that you should be doing or they should be doing because of social media or other families or things like that, is what's right for your family and what's right for your child. And it's just going to depend. Are they like Jess just said, her daughter doesn't want to be in the middle of the stage with a bunch of other people. Like she's like independently furious right now, and that's awesome. And I have one child who loves, she's like my social butterfly and never stops moving. And then the other one is like, no, let's just, I just want a one-on-one conversation with one person right now. And like, they're so
yeah.
different. Um, I think it's hard because right now I feel like there's so much pressure to start kids so young. And if you don't, they're not going to get to play on the team and all these things. But I think just listen to your kids. If they're not enjoying it and they're not having fun, find something else for them to do, because they'll find their niche. They'll find what they love, whether it's sports or you might end up with a music lover, like my husband is an auto mechanic, like he's in the garage and he's like a greasy guy, and neither one of my kids wants anything to do with that, and I know at times that he kind of wishes he had a buddy out there. And even
I
though for
always,
girls, sometimes you can have a girl that wants to do that, but right now that's not their interest. Hmm.
yeah. I always think though, like it doesn't even matter what you do with your kids right now, because you know what's meant to be for them, it's going to happen. Like it's
Yes.
like I mean, you might have them in sports, and then they're going to be like, "Oh, I want to do this instead." And then you're like, "Oh my God, I just invested like $500 in that equipment." Like, no, we're not doing that. But, you just never know. Like you know, I always say, the universe is gonna just show them where they need to be, and that's where they're gonna go. So no pressure. Take the pressure off of yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited. Obviously, being in sports and loving that as much as I do, I'm excited that she seems to really be enjoying those things. And we have the conversation all the time and know that it's evolving. But um, we're obviously really excited to see her. She likes gymnastics, like she's always talking about it. And she loves being in the pool for swim lessons. We started swimming more as like a safety thing because we live down here in Houston and we know we'll be around a lot of pools and things like that. But we're kind of like, oh, when we were kids, neither of us liked swim lessons at all. Both of us have stories of, a relative taking us to swim lessons, and I'll be the first to admit I hid in the bathroom as much as I could at swim lessons because I wasn't enjoying it. And my husband would cry at swim lessons as a kid. And so to see her enjoy something that neither of us liked when we were little kind of makes us laugh. But we're like, what? We joke all the time. We're like, watch, she's super into gymnastics and we're going to get her into soccer and all these things. And she's going to end up like loving chess. And we're going to have to like learn to do, go and watch like chess. I don't know, do you call them meets or competitions? But we're excited to see the stuff that she enjoys. Obviously, we're going to introduce what we're familiar with and what we would hope that she enjoys. But I think it'd be cool if she did some other things that are unfamiliar to us too, and kind of puts herself out there so we can learn some things too. And if she's truly enjoying it, I know we'll enjoy it too. But
Yeah.
it's just interesting to hear the differences in kids and, on the parent side of things, feeling that pressure to like put your kids in. Are you doing enough for your kids? Are you not doing enough? Are you doing the right things? And are you still doing the right things for yourself too? Because, like you had mentioned, Jess, you don't want to lose yourself in it as
Mhm.
well.
Let's
I
talk.
never I never thought that my daughter would be going into pageants. I am not a pageant girl. I was totally into sports and uh yeah. And so for me to go and watch her, but the pride and like that I had, like it was just like I'm so proud of her just because it's something that I could have never have done. And that's the beauty of just letting your kid just be them and just watching them grow and be their own person. So I try to take those expectations off of the what I expect of them because I was a lot more aggressive at soccer, and my son is like he's very good at it, but he sits back a little bit, and I'm like, go after it. What are you doing? But I'm like, okay, he's 8. I gotta remember. So
Yes. No, I agree with that because when Delilah's a dancer, and so when she first started competitive dance, she was a little older when she started. She started competitive dance, I think, when she was 12 or 13. And I was the same way. I'm like, okay, all I've ever seen is dance moms on TV, I'm like, and so it was a great experience for me. It forced me out of my comfort zone. I got to meet new people, but the watching them when they are in their element, it's just it just like gives you just I cry every time she's on stage because I just see her shine so bright, and it's just cool. Like she tried to play basketball when she was young, and it was not her thing, and she knew it. Like she knew it. The girl can't run, and I can say that on here because she'll joke about that. Like I don't know if I should say this on the podcast, but I will because it was on social media. But she's a camp counselor this summer, and at the beginning of the year, they announced all the counselors and like their highlight of each one, and her award was like the most likely to fall flat on her face. And so how she became a dancer, because we joke about the fact that her coordination when she runs is so funny, but she can dance. Like, so that's the other thing is do not judge. Like, never in my wildest dreams would she have been a competitive dancer because she was not a very graceful kid. And so it's like just those different things, but let them find, and she has to work very hard at dance to keep up with some of the others. And I'm just so proud of her because her passion carries her there. It's because she loves it so much. But
yeah.
I want to track back to what you said. You said something to get back to like to women is not losing ourselves in that raising your children. So my kids, Delilah's going to be 18 in a couple weeks, and she's my baby, and the other one's going to be 20 this fall. And like all of a sudden my husband and I are like it's pretty cool, like we can come and go fairly much on our own because they're doing their own thing, but I feel like I'm coming back into myself again, and not that I wasn't myself, but everything revolved around the kids for so long, and I think it's so important that as moms we are keeping whatever it is, whether it's a job or a business or a group of friends or a
Hobbies.
coffee group or whatever it is, that you have something, because if we pour everything, we love our kids, and that's where our number one thing is, our kids and our marriages, and but you can't lose yourself in that. It's 18 years. You're going to
Yeah.
live a lot longer than that. They're going to grow up and they're going to go have their lives, which we want them to. I see that now at this age. I want them to go and like create their own lives. And I don't want to be a hindrance to any of that. And so it's remembering that time goes so fast. And just tell us a little bit about that. Like, because I know that you had some pretty deep times where you have been like drowning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So I didn't have kids until I was 36 years old, 36 and 38. And so I lived a full life, you know, right up until then, and traveling, traveling for work, going to the Caribbean during the winter. It was just beautiful. And so when I had kids, I had this, I'm very honored. I was being able to stay home with them and work from home. I didn't have a maternity leave. I was literally doing emails while giving birth, probably right after. I brought my laptop to the hospital. That's how bad it was. Um, but I quickly realized like I really wanted to enjoy them. And so I no longer traveled from work, but then I realized also that I was pretty lonely. My husband would leave for work, I'd have the kids. I was like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And so, and I just, as an older mother with young kids, that was really hard for me to find a friend group that I could relate with. And so I felt, um, don't want to cry, but I felt very lonely at that time. And so I didn't realize it until we moved from one city to another, from Jamestown, North Dakota to Williston. And I was like, I had extreme guilt because I had my kids with me forever, but I was like, I really want to get back into the workforce. And I had this huge guilt of putting them into daycare. And that was kind of a nightmare as well, trying to find a good daycare that would take care of your kids well, because I'm so overprotective. And um but yeah, so it's just overcoming that, and knowing that the first 2 days I cried dropping them off, and that's okay because their confidence grew. They weren't so reliant on me, and that was just recognizing that, and starting my own business up again, and then they see me as someone who has their own business, and I can make my own hours, and I make sure that they are still my main thing, but I can still go off and do my own thing. And I got nominated for an award last year, and somebody mentioned in that award thing is that I'm not afraid to bring my kids to a meeting. I'm not afraid to bring them to somewhere to go volunteer, because I do feel like if we want to have these kids in the next generation grow up and be a part of things, which we desperately need in this society still, are volunteers. They are going to learn from us. And we have to be able to bring them into the fold, and sit down with them and interact with them like they're actually a part of it. Because I feel like that's how we grow our our little thing. If we want the next generation to pick up the baton, we have to show them what that looks like. So that's
I love that.
basically how I'm trying to live my life. It's not perfect by any means. I did go to therapy last year for a good 6 months because I felt like I was losing that connection even with my husband, and trying to find that balance, because you want to keep yourself, you want to have that relationship with your husband, you want to have that relationship with your kids, and it's not easy. It's not an easy job. So you have to give up something,
Yeah.
and it's just like maybe sometimes he's 100% and I'm like 60, and sometimes it's, but we have a good relationship in where, he loves to clean and organize, and I like to cook and he cleans it. Just finding those balance, that the balance in your family dynamic, sometimes, husbands, mine doesn't, like he is a school teacher and then he goes and he's a park ranger during the summer. So I feel like a single mom during the summer because I only get him 1 day a week.
Wow.
So it's just finding the balance and being okay that your kids are with you sometimes. And I don't throw the iPad at them. They are bored. They're
And that's
bored,
okay. Yeah.
but they are building forts in their room and, going outside and doing their thing. So I feel like we're just so afraid to, you know, for it to always be on them. And I don't feel like it should be.
Like
So,
we're afraid. It's well, even I mean, I think like we're sometimes afraid to sit still in our own thoughts, right? Like, so we want to keep them like stay busy, busy, and yeah, but it's okay to just be like and let them be bored. Yeah, you can't learn how to make a blanket fort if you're constantly busy, you know.
yeah.
And I don't know about you guys, but those are like some of the best memories of being a kid. Myself is those are the things you remember, and
Yeah.
oh, it's just hard. It's just hard trying to find all of that balance for them and for us. And what is something that you and your husband both like being busy with your jobs and the kids? Are you guys like what is something that you do together that is are you guys like grand? Like some people are like grand people, like like the big date nights and things like that, or is it more small little things that keep you in tune with each other?
I think with like I said, I got married to him in my 30s. We were so used to being alone, that it's just like we love our alone time.
Yeah.
And I think it's just that communicating and making sure that we check in with each other quite a bit, and giving each other our space when we need it. But we also, yes, we do go out on dates. We'll go on a trip together. But just being able to check in with each other every single day, even if it's for like 10-15 minutes, to be like, we really learned how to be like, hey, what's the highlight of your day? What was the crap part of your day? Like, and just trying to respect each other in that way of making sure that, because our lives are so busy, of, hey, you get your alone time, reset your brain, and
Mhm.
not feel guilty about it, and
Mhm.
not feel like we have to always be touching, or hey, sometimes it's just like being in the same room as one another is enough.
Yes.
And I know that looks different for everybody. I know so many other couples who are like, I need to be touched, and I'm just like, I don't want to be touched right now.
That's what I'm hearing from you. Is you guys are listening to each other on what the other
Yeah,
person needs. And I
yeah.
think that's the number one thing right there is that communication and accepting that, like, I need to be alone right now. Okay. Like, that's
And, and
okay.
not and not look any deeper into it. Like,
Right.
and not think,
Yes.
oh, is he mad at me? Like, no, I just need a moment. Like, here's all what happened to me today. I haven't had a moment to like go to the bathroom by myself. Can I just like have a minute, like,
Yes.
and so it's just respecting and knowing that, hey, maybe on, because Sundays are our family days. So we've chosen that day to put our phones down. We're not looking at it. It's just going to be us and the kids. And I think if you just have those moments, I think that's important. So,
Yes.
and do what works for you. It doesn't have to be the cookie cutter, relationship that everybody thinks it should be. Because I think once you start putting that pressure on yourself, it just starts to like, you're like, oh, I should be doing this. I should be. I'm like, no, just be you. Just
Yes.
present. So,
I like that you said like it's not a cookie cutter thing. And I think all the topics that we've kind of covered today, it comes back to just these unrealistic expectations that are placed on us as humans, as women, as moms, as women in the workplace. And it's just these expectations of, well, my friend says that her and her husband do date night once a week and they go on these fancy things. So then I feel like we have to do that or else we don't have a good marriage. Or if my kid's not doing X, Y, and Z, they're not on the travel team and, I'm missing out on that, or my kid's not going to be able to go on and play at the college level or, whatever. It's all these unrealistic expectations that I think is placed on us by the outside world, but also we place on ourselves too, especially as women and moms.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, we
for
really
sure.
do. I think those, like you said, say it again.
Unrealistic expectations.
Unrealistic expectations is absolutely, and yes, from the outside world, but I think we do put those on ourselves too. Um, and and the thing is, we can see what we think other people's perfect lives are going, but we don't really know what's going on inside behind the closed doors. And that's where your peace comes from, truly. I mean, that's where my peace comes from, is behind those closed doors, is when you are at home with the ones that you love unconditionally, because they'll accept you for the fact that I just need a couple minutes alone, or I just need this, or I'm crabby right now. I'm sorry I'm crabby right now, but this, I've had a rough day. And then they can accept that,
Yeah.
and yeah, being able to share that with them. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if they're really truly your person, and I mean, really, they, you could say anything to them. They're not going anywhere, like just know that and be confident in that. Don't think that they're gonna, I feel like we always want our partners to read our minds, and that is so, I know I can't. I can
Yeah.
read your face a little bit, but I'm like, who knows? Maybe he's thinking about his oil change. Like, maybe it's not me.
That
But
is
tell
such a,
me if it is.
yes.
So,
We've been together 30 years, and I will I used to like clam up if like something was bothering me, because I don't want to like rock the boat or do anything. And I'm just learning that, like, wait a second, like, and I mean, I knew this, but there were just situations where I would just like, I'm just not going to say nothing because I don't want to make anybody upset. And I'm just learning now that, like you said, they're gonna love you. If they are your people, they're gonna love you no matter what. And it's so freeing once you start to speak up. And they're
yeah,
like, my husband would be like, yeah, I know. We've been together 30 years. I already know what's going on. Like, he's like,
yeah,
but I'm like, whoa, wow, it feels good to be able to say it out loud.
And he probably knows that because you had spoken out to him in the past, like it was a learning thing for him too, that you were
True.
talking and, communicating with
Yes.
him. Yeah.
Yes.
The mind reader thing has been huge for me lately. Um, I I hate to say it, but I just assumed that my husband would know exactly what I wanted, what I was thinking, and how I wanted things to be. And it's unfair to expect somebody to think that way and know all of those things. So communication has been a really big thing that we've been working on in our house, and just having those hard conversations so that somebody isn't sitting there thinking like, oh, well, what is he over there thinking about? Like, is he mad at me, or did I do something to upset him? When really he's over there like, and work was really long today, and I just want to sit here in silence. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I do some part-time work, but I remember when I was working full-time in person in a chiropractic office, and my husband was also working out of the house at the time, but he had a schedule that was 8 days on, 6 days off, and those 6 days off would fall on days that I was like coming home, middle of the week. And I remember there was one time I got home and just like bit his head off. And he was like, what is going on? Like, I haven't even seen you all day. How can you be mad at me? And it came down to, I was like, I just saw people like every 15 minutes. I'm talking to patients, I'm interacting with people all day long. And all I've had for peace and quiet was like the 10-minute drive home. And so ultimately, it came down to me being like, on the days that you have been home all day, I understand you are like craving interaction with an adult, but I need, 30 minutes to myself to kind of decompress and not have somebody talking to me. And so now that I'm staying at home with our daughter and he's walking in the door, I'm trying to remember back to that situation too. So I'm excited. I'm like the golden retriever at the door. My daughter's running to him and I'm like shortly behind her, like, oh my God, yay, an adult to talk to. But just keeping myself in check with that too, that there's going to be days that I have to understand and be okay with him needing, just a little bit of a break from human interaction too, and not taking offense to that. But it goes back to what you said, just being able to communicate that, but also receive it on the other end too, to better understand one another.
Well, I just want to validate you because I remember very much being home with my kids at a young age and just waiting for them to come home and be like, Tag, you're it, like it's a season and I hate it when they'll be like, oh my God, you should just enjoy it. It goes so fast. Like, stop. Like, validate your feelings. Like, it does suck at the moment, sometimes it
Yeah.
does. And it's not like you don't care and you don't love your child and all that stuff, but gosh, it's lonely. It gets so lonely and so like I need an adult. I need someone to like feed me. so
Yes. It's
so
I
just know like you're not by yourself. And I don't feel like it's talked enough about of how lonely of a job it is to be a mom, with your kids all day. So I don't
I
know.
think I think it's lonely because I was a stay-at-home mom for a while too. You're lonely in the sense of you're with your kids, so you're not having adult conversations.
Yeah.
When my husband used to get home, he used to joke. He's like, he said I would talk so much. It was like down to like the color of the baby's poop because I had so much. I didn't have anything else to tell him. So
Yeah.
he still jokes about that. But I think it's also lonely because you being a mom is like you're on the Discovery Channel and they just threw you in a jungle and said, figure it out.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing and you don't want to admit that to anybody. And sometimes you don't have anybody to admit that to. I think, Shelby, I think you are doing such an amazing job. I mean, the fact that you're here, it's one of the reasons we started the Real Joy Project was to open up these conversations because Shelby and I had kids at different stages. When I met her, when we first started talking, she didn't even have a baby, but it was just like trying to help the different stages of life understand each other or the different generations because we forget what it was like to be in that until you're talking to a friend who is and you're like, oh my gosh, I remember
Yeah.
that. And
Yeah.
it is lonely because you think you have this baby and you're supposed to know. Nobody tells you that you're not going to know. You're just like, you're going to have a baby and all the mom instincts are just going to happen. And you
Mhm.
don't know what you're doing. You don't know 20 years later, still don't know what you're doing. But I think as we move along, we start to admit that, like, I don't have a clue what I'm
Yeah.
doing. I'm just winging it, and
I
praying a lot.
I tell my kids all the time, I'm like, this isn't the first time doing this, guys. Like, I
Yes.
don't know. Like, I think
Yes.
this is the way maybe we should, like we have I I don't mind them talking back to me as long as it's respectfully. And so we have like a pillow at home and I'm like, here, I have the pillow and I'm talking right now and I'll give you a chance to talk here. It's like so it makes it just better. I'm just knowing like even if letting your 2-year-old, have her moment of being like, hey, I let my kids cuss in the car and that's it. Like, if you want to get it out in the car. But after that, you better not come in my house.
Mhm.
So
My daughter used to get in
maybe
the
I'm
car.
terrible for that,
Yes.
but I
No.
also know what words they say
That's
or no.
exactly right. But that it gives you. My daughter used to get in the car too and be like, "Can I just have a moment to vent?" And then she'd actually ask, "Can I use some cuss words?" And then, okay, just go. And then now you know where you can and can't use those words, you know. But
Yeah.
you have to let them get it out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like. We joke a lot that we started therapy in our mid 30s or with late, almost 40 years old. No, I don't want my kids to have to like figure out at that age that they can have conversations and be honest with people. Like, let's
They're
let them
still
do
going to
that.
therapy. I know that, but
Oh yeah, yes, I love therapy. Is great. It's fantastic because it's somebody to talk to. But my kids both, and they're open about it. They don't hide it either. They love going to therapy, and it might not even be that there's anything major going on, but they have somebody besides mom, because I always want to fix it. They just are looking for somebody to listen to them sometimes. And they've told me that before. Mom, I don't need you to fix it. I just need you to listen to me. And how great that I love the pillow idea. That's awesome. But that we have to let them show those emotions in a safe environment and how to learn to have those conversations. And sometimes you see like, oh, the kids from the 80s, and it's like, I was a kid of the 80s, and or they'll say kids used to be not seen and not heard. Well, that was a different time for one thing. And what you said earlier about if we're not listening to them and talking to them, how do we know how are we helping them to get their world, like what their world's going to look like?
yeah.
Yeah. And
Having a conversation. Like, my kids can hold a conversation probably with an adult more than some other adults. So
yes, yes, because you
they
allow them.
actually come when I come home, they're like, "Hey mom, how was your day?
Yeah.
Tell me about your day. What did you do?" And I was like, "Oh, hi. Okay. This is
Like
what I
little,
did."
yeah, like they're little adults because you're allowing them to express themselves. And
Yeah.
yeah, yes, I think that's fantastic. I love it.
But I just think that just those expectations that other people are doing, like, just throw it out the window. Just do you.
A
So
hundred
don't
percent.
be afraid to go to therapy, please, by all means.
Yes.
Go.
Jess, I want to talk to you about a little bit. Hope you don't mind I throw this out at you. The last time we were together was a few months back, and we were talking about understanding your value, like your personal value. And we joked a little bit about this with you, like you're a photographer and you do marketing and different things, is understanding your value. And we were kind of joking about that in like cost of your services and things like that. But going a little bit deeper, like how even probably in the past 6 months since I've seen you, I'm going to ask you that. Have you worked on that, on accepting that you are of value, that you are worthy? Like how have you worked on that since we've talked 6 months ago?
Oh gosh.
Throwing it out.
Well,
Yeah.
I hired somebody. So I have a team now. I can call a team, and um, I, I reflected so much on that, of just valuing my own time and valuing my time with my family. And that's I'm a workaholic. I could work 24/7 and you give me something, and because I like to make money and I like to provide my family for things that maybe I didn't get when I was a kid, and so that's an issue I got to deal with therapy. But um but I realize, like, I'm good at what I do, and I can sit there and I have all these things, and I can sit with somebody in a business meeting and be like, boom, 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 boom. This is exactly what you need. And I don't think that other people could do that and kind of like have that, like, kind of zoom out and be like, okay, here's what all is going on in your business. And here, and so, and I have the experience to do it. I've been doing this since 2001.
Mhm.
It's 2026. So, and I find myself not wanting to chase clients. Um, and I really do rely on, like, if they're meant for me, then we're gonna find each other, the way of each other. I'm gonna put myself out there and be like, hey, this is what I do. Here's my prices. And if we don't jive, then that's fine. Like, they're not my people. And they need to know that I have, sometimes I have kids on this couch. This is my office.
Yes.
And I have a TV for them to watch TV if they need to. So I really, moving into my own space, I was sharing a space with some other people back last year. And so in April, I changed to a new location, and it's really, truly my own. I hired someone and just expanding the reach and doing my thing. So
I love it. And it just kind of empowers you to like have your own space and
yeah,
be, yeah, I love that so much. You're amazing. You are really amazing at what you do. And I love that you are embodying your value of what you offer. I also love what you said about not chasing clients. We can reflect that into the world as not chasing people, not chasing things that are not meant for us, like standing
mhm.
back and like, if it's meant to be, that doesn't mean we can just sit around and eat bonbons and like everything is going to happen, but
Yeah,
it's just,
no,
yeah, it's putting yourself out there and then listening to what's right. And I'm in that stage right now too of learning, like, just because it's in front of you does not mean that it's meant for you, and that it's hard sometimes to turn those down. But I'm really trying to look at the long picture, and does this fit in my life right now? Does this fit, like you said, is this allowing me time for my family? Is it allowing me time for myself? Is it allowing, like, is this person's going to be upset that my kids are on the couch once in a while? They are not the person that is I'm
right.
supposed to work for right now.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
I'm so
yeah.
proud of you.
Like, if you call me at 4 o'clock, you're gonna hear a kid in the background like, "Mom, I need a snack." Like, I'll be
Yeah.
like, "Hold on." I mean, they know for the most part to be quiet when I'm on the phone, but you have those moments. Like, it's just like it really is like just not going for the first little piece that just gets dangled in front of your face. It's like, do we really fit with each other? So,
Yeah.
I used to travel for work. I tried to travel again a year and a half ago, and for 10 days, my little life over here was just falling apart, and my kids needed me. And it just is not the time for me to
Yeah.
travel anymore. And that's okay. That's fine. I learned the lesson,
Mhm.
and, and so now it's fine.
And that's how you learn, because if you wouldn't have done it, you'd still be craving it. Like,
Mhm.
I want to do
Yeah.
that. And the thing is, it's going to circle back around. It'll
Yeah.
circle back around, and you'll be doing that again when your kids are like, "See you, mom."
Yeah.
You'll be like, "Now I need to find something to do." So you'll get to
I know.
do it.
I
Yes.
had a I had a friend who's doing some astrocartography for me, and he's like, "You got a line right down in Bali, Indonesia." And I was like, "Okay, we're putting a pin in that. Like, that's my
Yes. Yes.
we'll go there."
Yes, that's
So,
that's the thing I'm learning is it's just the opportunities. If they're meant to be, they'll wait. They will also wait
mhm.
for us. Yep.
Yeah. I will
Yep.
say I'm on my second marriage. My so uh it's funny because I so desperately wanted that first one to work out, and in my 20s, and it took me, I'm just going to say this. I got divorced from that person in April 3rd, 2007, and it was I met my husband on April 3rd, 2015. So
Wow.
I don't know if you think about, like, I don't think that's just a coincidence. I really feel like it was like God, universe, whatever you want to believe. Like, I really truly believe it was just like you had to wait for this. And there was like different things that happened that was just like, I was like, oh my gosh, like this is meant to be. So I know that for a fact, like, my life is cut out. It's perfectly planned in a certain way. And it's just for me to just be like, okay, I accept this. I know I'm always taken care of. And just having that knowing is just a relief, and it just, takes that pressure off of you. So I
Oh,
don't know if anyone else feels that way, but I am really, truly, just really coming around to feeling that. So
yeah. You just give me goosebumps. I gives me goosebumps because yes.
even this morning, I went to um, go get breakfast after a doctor's appointment, and I was like, I really don't need to spend this money. I don't need to spend money on fast food because I just came from the doctor's appointment. But I went through that drive-through, and I got to the window, and they're like, "We're giving this to you. Like, here's your meal." I was like, "What?" They're like, "Yeah, we just took a little longer, and I'm the general manager in here. I just feel like you need it." So, and I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm just like in my head, I was like, "Holy crap! Like, is this happening?" But I don't know. It's just a way of just like trusting and knowing. I mean, I know that doesn't happen to just anybody at any time. And it sounds woo woo and crazy, but I do really believe like if you really are just like you're living your life and you trust and know that you're always taken care of, you're always the things that are going to come to you will come to you. So I don't know. That's just
I'm all yes, I'm all about the woo woo. Like, but I also believe that that's where when we learn to slow down and pause a little bit, we
yeah,
see it. We see it because if you're pushing and resisting all the time against like what we think we should be doing, we don't get to
yeah,
see those moments like unfold in front of us.
yeah.
And yeah,
I really do. I really feel like we always get those signs and we just need to be aware of it and listen to it and trust yourself. So
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
maybe that's what, being, now well into my 40s, I'm finally like coming around to that.
I agree with you. I agree with you. Age has helped me a lot, a lot. I see, and I tell Shelby all the time, I see so much wisdom in her. Did you turn, you're 34, you, right?
35.
I was like, did you
If you
just, yes.
Ooh.
if you ask my daughter, she'll tell you that I am 62. Um, no, I did. I just turned 35 and it it does not feel like it. I feel like for whatever reason I got stuck at about 26 years old. Um, I would not go back to my 26-year-old life, like reflecting back onto it. Life was good. Like I had a really great life but man, my 30s have definitely they've just been so much better and I'm proud of who I'm becoming. I have found out a lot about myself and I've pushed myself to do different things and I agree with you too, Jess. Like things just they align, they start working for you. Obviously, you have to put in the effort. We can't just sit around and wait for things to happen. But I'm a firm believer too in some of the woo-woo things of, things just they're gonna happen how they're meant to happen. And um, I think as we get older too, we kind of just sit back and pause and make sure that we actually notice those things happening to
Yeah.
us. Yeah.
The more you put a square peg in trying to put it into a circle hole, it's like, why would it fit?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not that for you, sweetheart.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. I
Yeah.
see so much wisdom in Shelby that I wish I had at 35. Like I love that you are leaning into it already. It's good.
I can definitely say, Jenny, like you've had a very large influence in some of the wisdom that I've acquired because you and I have known each other for quite a while now. But I feel like our relationship has flourished. And I know Nikki was on the podcast with us for a little while too. And just we're doing what we set out to do and taking those generations and different experiences and sharing and communicating. And it's helped me. And I really truly hope that the Real Joy Project is helping somebody else out there too. But you've given me a lot of advice, and I have chosen to listen because it's been really great advice. And today too, Jess, it was really great. I briefly met you at the girlfriend
Yeah.
getaway, like you snapped some pictures of us. So it's been really cool to hear your story and know you more than just the photographer that snapped our pictures really quick. But I feel like there was a lot of things that I could relate to with you today, and I hope there's some other things that other women will take away from this conversation today too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you guys for having me. So,
Thank
Yeah.
you for being here. Yes. Is there anything else you want to add, Jess?
uh, I mean, not really. I just, I hope you enjoyed it today, and if you ever need any marketing, you get a hold of Jenny Lee because she does it too. So, yeah.
And I just thank you for being here. I just love when we can get on here and just have conversations with each other and help. Hopefully, somebody else just doesn't feel so alone in what they're going through, or whether that's as a mom or a woman or whatever stage they're in. So thank you for being with us. And um, I I bet you have a. Do you have a visitor, like one of your
Yes,
children?
I do.
I,
Someone's gonna come at the door. So I was like, just
yep.
give me
It's
1
that time. So we'll sign off. And I just want to say thank anybody. Thank you for listening. If you guys have any questions or anything, let us know. We'll share some of your information, just like your business and stuff, in the comments. And we would love, if you enjoyed this conversation, to hit the like button and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any of our future conversations. And just thank you for being with us today.